policy at Virgin of working from home. I know a lot of us have that. It's a great policy. It means you can pretty much work anywhere, on a boat, in your backyard, conservatory, wherever, Starbucks, Cafe, you got it. We've also just started a new policy of unlimited holidays, which we're just working through the logistics of. You can basically take off as much time as you need during the year. Richard's philosophy is, if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your business, and we embrace that at the group level. And I'm part of the group level, so I look after portfolios of companies, as Karen mentioned, North and South America, the UK, and Europe. So it spans everything from mobile phones to planes and hotels and a little bit of other crazy stuff. So, work from home and unlimited holidays. Any other questions other than darts? What? Okay, you ready? Here we go. Remember, every image has a story, so. Alex, right? This one, right? So I don't know if you can read it, but it says red. Red hot. So red hot is one of our brand values that we embrace. There's 6 of them. You'll see them kind of cycling through. Red hot means that you should always be on the cutting edge of whatever you do, be it customer service, technology. Very, very much at the forefront. So it's all about how the planes look, how the lounges make you feel, how the customer service agents interact with you. You have to be red hot. Funny story though, so the legal team came back and they said, you know, what's red hot for me? Like, what am I going to do in legal that's red hot? Fair enough, let me think about it. But it's usually, you know, I said, well, what if you do like a really kick-ass legal agreement? That'd be amazing. All right, any questions on that? All right, here we go. Okay, which one? Which image do you want?
On the left.
On the left. That is Virgin America, interior cabins. Airline launched in 2007, and since launch, every single year, it's been the #1 domestic carrier in the US. Amazing experience. There's also the safety video on here as well, if anyone wants to see that, which if you haven't seen it, it's pretty amazing. The lighting, though, inside of the cabin is kind of the big one here, and that's also very red hot. So it's kind of purple and themed, and you walk in, you feel like you're in a very, very cool club, and combined with the great service, it's just a great delivery. How many people have flown Virgin America? Oh, there, oh, good. Atlantic? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, Australia? All right, cool. Okay, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Necker Island. It's part of the Virgin Company. Actually, it's part of Virgin Limited Editions, which is the company that manages all of Richard's properties around the world. So, and you can actually stay on Necker Island if you want. In addition to people staying there, we also hold conferences there for a lot of our foundational meetings. So for Virgin Unite, which is our foundation, we have meetings there for the elders, the ocean elders, the B team. It's a great meeting point for heads of state, politicians, ambassadors to come and talk about world issues, and a lot of amazing things have come out of those meetings on that island. So, and it's sunny, it's beautiful. So, any questions on that? All right, here we go. Great, hi. This one, right?
Yeah.
So, Virgin Atlantic, upper class. Virgin Atlantic launched in 1984. Amazing brand builder as far as brand builders go. Phenomenal team, great company. They're into their decades now of growth and development. They have all new aircraft coming as well. This is their 40th anniversary. Pretty impressive. They just launched their new uniforms for their flight crew. Vivian Westwood. pretty amazing. So, and great service, great service. So from a brand perspective and also from a customer service angle, they're refreshing everything. So in the next year, look for kind of an upgrade all around to the experience as well as the inventory of the aircraft.
Can I ask what may be a really stupid question?
Please.
What was Branson's first business?
First business was a magazine called Student. When he was still college age but not in school. Yeah, that was the first one. Then he went into records, mail order records. That was the next one.
I don't know if you're able to say this, but as a percentage of revenue, how much does Virgin Atlantic make up of all of the kind of Virgin plane ticket sales?
If I knew, I don't know if I could tell you. I don't know. I'd pay a lot for it though. That's great.
Sorry. How do you pick which different industry to go in when you've got such a wide range? How do you kind of go from I'll do a gym and then I'll do an air and then I'll do broadband? How do you
So there's some sectors that we can't go into. We've tried and failed. But you need to look at brand elasticity. So you need to see if you have entry into that sector. So we do now. I think in the past there probably wasn't as much rigor around it. But we work with our investment team to do brand insight around the sector that we're thinking about going into to see if we're allowed entry into it from the consumers. So if the brand can stretch us into there. If it looks like we can, if it looks like the consumers would embrace us in that area, then it needs to pass, three different areas really. It needs to pass investment. So is it a sound business? Brand, is it on brand? Would it help us build the brand or would it possibly eat away at the brand? And the third and final part is purpose. So can we make it a purpose-driven business? So, and that's relatively new for us, the purpose side of it. It's really looking at finding to make money, finding to build a brand, but what are you doing for people and planet? So what are you doing to give back? And that isn't CSR, by the way. That is fundamentally, what are you doing? If you're in that industry, what are you doing to change it and make it for better? So what we call changing business for good. I think there was one more back there.
I was just looking at that, and I'm wondering if you, I don't know, are you planning on, or do you have A380s? Is that something that in the...
We're doing the Dreamliners.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dreamliners. So we have the same delay that everyone has with the Dreamliners, but I think they're going to be beautiful. Beautiful.
Was Virgin America his entree into America? Is he going to do more stuff there?
In America?
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, we have one of the slides you'll see. We have Virgin Hotels opening later this year. Soft launch in Chicago, 200-room hotel, and then a rollout around the world, including the U.S. Virgin Cruises, which had been kind of leaked a while ago, so I'm not giving you any confidential information. Virgin Cruises we're looking at for the U.S. market as well. We currently have Virgin Mobile there. We also have Virgin Produced, which is a group that produces movies and TV content as well. They're based in LA. And we have a B2B health and wellness business called Virgin Pulse, which is a software company, basically. And they sell directly to other companies for their employee health and wellness programs. So they're hardware agnostic, but they do have a little device as well, a bespoke one that goes along with the software. And it tracks your activity throughout the day, your calories, your sleep patterns, and all that. So it's kind of an entry into health and wellness in the
With like the Virgin Hotels, do you look to do more of like a white labeling, or are you building it from the ground up?
It's definitely Virgin. Different partner arrangements depending on the location. In the case of Chicago, it's actually going in and renovating an existing building. That'll be stunning. In New York, it's built from the ground up, and then it'll be a different model in whatever city, but very much in keeping with where it's going, so it won't be, it'll be harmonious with the area that it's in. It won't be kind of an eyesore or completely counter to the area that it's into, but as an urban destination hotel. So if you imagine like a really, really beautiful hotel with amazing service. I could name the brands that we're looking at comparing to, but I'm being recorded. And it'll be better than those. Yes. Any other questions on this? This one is for?
This one.
Just the roof, actually.
Yeah.
The roof, Virgin Records. Yeah, so this was one of the first shops that opened up for Virgin Records. And at the time, it was pretty revolutionary. You could use it as a communal space. People would come in and just hang out and listen to records, which was completely counter to the Woolworths model of the other high street retailer model of coming in and buying. You could actually come in and sample and listen to the music before you buy it, which at the time was very, very disruptive. Which, again, that's one of the hallmarks of the businesses that we go into. We need to disrupt the market, disrupt the business, and change it for good. Yeah. Any other questions on that? Wow, you're quick. You are some poised. You're ready to go. All right. So, Galactic. What are you doing?
So when did this launch? When did you guys?
So, I can't really give you a timeline, but the tests are going really well. So, they're busy testing the different rocket engines. They've had a number of test flights that have been really successful. We're just trying to get to the right altitude with the right payload, so the right amount of weight. And then when all of that is in place, Richard and the family will go up for the first kind of official flight. And yeah, it's a phenomenal business. And talking about businesses in the U.S., this will be a huge brand builder for us in the U.S. Because it already is. We have 700 astronauts already signed up, ready to go. So that'll take some time to go through. But amazing experience.
Do they all launch from Cape Canaveral?
No, they'll launch from California, out in the desert. Yeah, there's a picture of the spaceport coming up that you'll see. So the facility is already built, and
That's
just
the
ready
only
to go.
launch site.
What's that?
That's the only launch site.
Yeah. So far, that's good.
Is it going to be used for primarily a leisure, with a leisure focus, or is there going to be more of a discovery and science focus on it as well?
There's so leisure, definitely. Richard's talked in the media about the possibility of launching satellites from it. Eventually, the business model where you could take it and shorten your commute from here to Singapore or whatever. I think those are ways out in the distance. But, yeah, leisure. There's when you look at purpose, and this one you kind of think, what will be the purpose of Galactic? What's the changing business for good? What's that driver? There's an effect that you get when you get into space and you're able to look back on the planet as a very, very fragile home that is pretty compelling. And people who come back from that experience are very, very clear about the fact that they've been changed by it, that it's altered their perception of the world that we live in and the fragility of it. So for us, that's a big part of why we should take people up into space. Yes. All right, here we go. Hi.
Tell us about the competition.
BA. That one or another one?
Next.
Their competition. I think it's like any sector that you go into, you're going to have competition. And I think BA over the years, they've done a great job of building their brand back up. And I think some of you know the history of the feud between BA and Virgin. It's been fairly public in the media over the years. But yeah, I think like any competitor, it's good to have them. And they keep you on your best game. And they make you constantly, if not because they're in direct competition, but they make you constantly reevaluate your offering and your messaging and what you're doing different. So yeah, it's been good. It's always good to have a competitor, by the way. Is that all right?
No other major international competition.
Well, that's the only one actually I can think of. I mean, we just entered into an agreement with Delta and Atlantic partnered together for the U.S. market and for those flights. So Delta's a great partner and enormous partner. That definitely helps us out. Sorry, which one you?
Yes, how would you sort of characterize the downsides of being sort of a big conglomerate company in many different industries? And how do you sort of counter those?
I guess it's how you think about yourself. So I think because we're a portfolio of family companies, we'll call it that. We really are. We're a portfolio I would say in some cases startups, in some cases larger companies that all work together under one umbrella. You never really feel like you're a conglomerate. Each one feels like they're very much a mom and pop organization that are a challenger brand, or in some cases being challenged, and they love working together, even though contractually there's no reason for them to do it. They love partnering together, which is, I think, amazing coming from Disney, where it was pretty much mandated that the different divisions had to work together. These guys actually want to work together. So I think it's a perception. I think people understand. Sorry.
You're saying about BA being competition, and maybe that might be indirect routes, but it's the growth of, say, Emirates and Etihad and Qatar Airways in terms of, because you really were a game changer in '84. I remember you very clearly coming to the market, and flying to America was a completely different experience.
Yeah.
But now those airlines have pushed the game on again. So how do you respond to that?
Absolutely. I think I would say watch in the next year or so. Look at what's coming with the new inventory of aircraft and the changes that they want to make with the service levels and the communications. I think you can learn a lot from those airlines. They're consistently #1 international carriers. Amazing experience. Someone said the other day that they would actually go to an Emirates restaurant if there was one located in the city, or an Etihad restaurant, because the food is so amazing on board the aircraft. So again, it's good to have competition because you know what the bar is and kind of where you have to go. And it's also, it's great when someone takes your playbook and they kind of replicate it and they want to be like you and better. It's great because it makes you want to do the same. So, yeah, you're right. Those are great competitors.
With kind of like escalating yourself to the next level out there, though, I think like BA, where they gave Virgin a run for their money, is just the reach that they had within Europe. So would you kind of see yourself striving up more towards the Etihad type or Emirates way, and also going to expanding more into Europe and becoming more of a European kind of
So I think for any airline you want to grow, and that's really when you get that scale, that's when you start being more and more profitable. So I can't really comment on any ideas that they have, but that's what an airline would want to do. You want to grow. You want to get bigger. I think, like any airline or any business, their aspiration is to get bigger, with more planes coming. Anyone else? Here we go. Do you have enough bullets? Do I need to send some back? All right? Okay. You guys are leading on the bullets. Here we go. Yeah, really. Okay, this is the safety video, which is amazing. I don't know if it'll start from the beginning though, but if you want to stop it, it's like, I don't know, it's like 3 minutes long, but we'll play enough of it to, yeah, I love it. And it gets stuck in your head. That's the bad part. You'll be.
I got some safety tips that you gotta know, and trust me, it's something that you wanna hear. So honey, sip your lips and enjoy the show before we move into the stratosphere. Yeah. So won't you buckle your seatbelt, pull it down tight, and keep your in that chair until we turn off that light. Turn your electrical devices off as fast as you can. Don't let me ask you again. So tonight, get ready to fly, 'cause we're gonna live it on up in the sky. Virgin America knows all the places you wanna be. Fly away with me, fly away with me, yeah.
For the 0.001% of you who have never...
Yeah, gives the idea. It's great. Produced by Virgin, actually in California. Not much of a budget at all. And it has like 9 million hits on YouTube. It's crazy. It's the only safety video I watch.
No, because I think it's brilliant. I haven't seen it before. But sort of practical question. Because safety videos, it's a golden thing that most people don't watch, so that actors to get attention. But how did this get through? Was there like legislation into how it was being produced? Because No other brand does it. And I know the UK, I don't know if that would work, would get away in the UK. I don't know if you know the details of that.
Yeah, so they follow the requirements. I mean, there are certain things that you have to cover, and as you watch it, they do everything that you're with the seatbelt and the safety vest and exit. It's all there. It's just presented in a far more entertaining way.
Do they do it in multiple languages?
I don't think so. This is just American.
Just translates it.
Yeah, they might subtitle it. I'm not sure for the flights to Mexico. Atlantic. So it's interesting. So Atlantic redid theirs as well. Theirs was animated, and the new animation on theirs is incredible as well. It's a different feel. It's not a music video, but they've taken their existing characters who were in the first one and upgraded them. It's a lot of fun. So that one's worth checking out as well. And then this one, if you know the previous Virgin America safety video, for any airline geeks out there, they've used some of the same characters that were in the previous one that was animated and brought them to life. So it's a great kind of pass back and forth.
This is Virgin America.
This is Virgin America. Yeah. Okay, which one? Right?
Right,
Yeah, because the left one's boring, right?
Yeah.
So the one on the right is a new, Virgin Active Health Club, and said I wouldn't mention Virgin Active. Virgin Active in Johannesburg. Beautiful facility, incredible design inside. We really took the whole experience of Virgin and kind of took it to the next level on design, and the atmosphere. And there's a few more slides that you'll see in here of the workout equipment on the roof and the pool and all that. But amazing space. And internally we have a website called Virgin Way where we highlight spaces and places, and this is one of the ones that we've featured for all the teams to look at around the world because they've done such an amazing job with it. It's beautiful. Which one? The one before?
The previous one, your
Okay.
wiki comment, almost still say it.
Yeah. So, tone of voice.
Yeah, so I'm currently working for Jinx TV, and we've got one of the original founders of MTV as CEO of the company, but he's now mid-50s. How does Richard keep his risk appetite current? How is he managing to maintain the mentality when he first set up Virgin, which is a very kind of controversial name for the brand at first?
Yeah.
Is he still making those strategic decisions that keeps it edgy as a brand?
Absolutely. And there's two parts to that, right? So there's the companies that we start, and he's about to go into space. So that's pretty cool. And then there's the activity that he does, because a lot of the self-promotion of himself and the company over the years has been with these challenges. So hydroballooning, the crossing of the Atlantic in the boat, I mean, all of that. He continues to do it. So he's an avid kite surfer now. So when you look at Kite Surfing Championship, he's right there. He's currently on the Virgin Strive Challenge, which he's not doing the first part of it, but it was last week, 3 marathons from London to the coast, rowing across the channel, cycling through France, hiking through Switzerland, and then a climb up the Matterhorn. So he's doing the climb portion.
And will that continue indefinitely? Is that the strategy of using him as the figurehead for the company and the brand?
So you'll see there's a photo in here of his son Sam,
Right.
so with Richard and Sam. So Sam very much inherited that kind of adventuresome spirit of his father. So you'll see that he's carrying on a lot of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So in addition to being an extremely talented producer, is his own production company as well. But yeah, I mean I think that's core to the Virgin brand, that idea of challenging yourself and
It's hard to have a company which is seen as young, managed by the same people as they are no longer young. I think. But yeah, it keeps it within the family and passes down for the son. I can see that work.
Yeah, we've got Sam and Holly as well.
Okay.
So they're both involved in the company.
What's he actually like in person, like one-on-one?
Exactly what you'd think. He's probably the best people manager you'll ever want to meet. Incredibly fun, full of ideas, challenges you in the best possible way, very, very friendly. He knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't, and he likes to employ people who can help him with the stuff that he doesn't, and he's very open about that. but amazing to work with. Great guy, really good. And I think we've all worked with a number of senior executives, chairmen and CEOs and board members, and he's pretty phenomenal. And low maintenance, fun, walks around the office, jokes around.
Nothing controversial to say then?
Yeah. No, sorry. And it's not even because of the camera. No, I genuinely think he's amazing. I really do. Yeah, he does. I mentioned it before, but he firmly believes that he'll take care of his employees because he knows that they'll take care of the business. So, yeah, I can't think of anything controversial.
What's the corporate structure?
An interesting one, not one that I'd ever encountered before, actually. So it really is. It feels like an investment company that you have a portfolio of, companies that you manage, right? And there's a set of partners who are responsible. Each one is responsible for a different set of companies. So there's a partnership structure, and then we have a chairman and a CEO and Richard. So in some ways, it's very flat because below the partners, they each have their own sectors that they look after, and the companies are within their portfolio that match that sector. And then brand kind of cuts across it. They're part of the investment team, so then they help kind of look at what the investment should be. And then we have purpose as well. That's part of it is looking at the businesses that we go into or the existing businesses that we're in and how we make them more purposeful. So it's an interesting structure. And then beyond that, which is the group level, you have the individual companies that have their own, in some cases, boards, CEOs, additional partners, because it's not always fully owned. Sometimes it's a mix of both. So I would say flat at the group level, and then it gets more complicated as you look at the nuances from company to company.
But at that top level, there's no non-execs. There's no Warren Buffett who sits with us. So there are no other people he relies on. It's just his team.
It's us, yeah. It's great. I mean, in some ways it's nice to have that connection, that direct communication.
Is that true? His mum?
His what?
His mum.
Eve? I haven't had much interaction with her. She seems like a live wire, though. She's great.
She's great. Go to space with him?
I don't know. She won't go to space. But she just released a book just recently. Celebrated her birthday. And, yeah. There's a video that I won't show of her birthday on Ecker, but it involved the whole family all of the men in the family doing a striptease on the table. But I won't share. I don't think my grandmother would have appreciated that on her 90th. Beautiful car. So it's all electric. It's a race series that'll start this September in Beijing and run through next year. Locations all around the world. 10 teams. Each team will have, I think it's 4 cars because speeds are the same, by the way, and quicker off the finish because of the torque, or off the start line because of the torque. You race for an hour, you pull over, next driver comes out with the next car, and the race keeps going. But amazing and incredibly fast. So, yeah. Okay, hi.
Desperate to supply that gun. Assuming there's a brand decision behind going with Formula E as opposed to something like Formula 1, obviously money isn't really resource and too much of an issue if they wanted to. Why would they go into something like this as opposed to something which has more of a global presence?
So we've done racing in the past, but I think the feeling is that, looking at the future of automobiles and thus the future of motorsport, we should probably look at a non-fuel option, and added to that the ability to do something completely different with the race. So the race will be not only highly entertaining, but there'll be more to it than on the social side, which I won't give away any of the details, but you'll be able to interact with the drivers and the car as they're racing, in addition to making it just a lot of fun because they're quiet, and that noise that you hear they've added in, because if not, they'd be stealth-like and completely quiet. On the race, you'll have music set up along the way, rock bands, and very much interactive, because if not, it'd be a very, very quiet race. I'll play this one. So we have 6 brand values. You've kind of seen them cycling through: the red hot, the straight up, insatiable curiosity. For each one of those, instead of being very prescriptive with our companies, we said, you know what, we're going to let you decide what it means for your company and your sector, but what we'll show you is the antithesis of. So we'll show you what it shouldn't be, and then we'll let you develop what it could possibly be. So this is one of them. This is the counter to insatiable curiosity. And you'll see throughout there's some red doodles on. The final reveal, it's shown that it's Richard doing the doodling over the speaker, who looks exactly like this setup with me. But hopefully I'm not as bad as he is. You'll see.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Virgin Incorporated, PTY Limited, trademark patent pending. This afternoon I'm going to speak to you about one of the core values that we hold dear here at Virgin, and that is total lack of curiosity. At Virgin, we are not curious about anything. Do you want to know why? Wrong. It's a trap. You're not adhering to total lack of curiosity. Total lack of curiosity. Curiosity, what is it? It's what causes thousands of children the world over to stick metal objects into plug sockets, when ideally they should be very quiet, very still, at home, waiting to be released into the school system. Okay? Curiosity in the workplace. Let's examine that. What is it? It's a plague. Okay? It's a disease. Why? It causes people to question. It causes crazy new ideas. It causes change. No questions, no ideas, no change. We don't want that. Thank you. Why? Curiosity is a killer. It's a killer. What does curiosity kill? Cats. Kills cats. Curiosity kills cats. Okay? So
there you go. It goes on. So there's 6 of these all together. I can send you the links, but we usually just watch them internally. A lot of fun. Which one? This one? One before? That's it. What part of it? That's not my child. Heartfelt service. So it's one of the 6 values that we've developed as part of our brand. It's one of the 6 that we go out to the companies with. And we have them try to, well, we don't impose them, but we say these are the 6 kind of core values of the brand. Translate it for your own business. In some cases, I think some of them have taken them all on as all 6 and haven't tweaked them at all. In the case of smart disruption, Virgin Trains changed that a bit because it doesn't really make sense, so you don't want to mention disruption with a train service. So we've allowed them the flexibility to go in and change wording. So heartfelt service is pretty much across the board. Everything that we do, from the airlines to healthcare. It is going that extra mile. It's genuinely feeling for your customers and showing them that.
Do you measure something like service before you actually put your brand onto the company? Because I used to have NTL Telewest as my cable and broadband provider.
And you switched?
And they were beyond rubbish. And then, actually, the day when they changed to Virgin, I think I had to call them up a week or 2 after because something happened to my service. And the way that, the service that I received when it was at Virgin Media or NTL was significantly different. But it was also, I think, 4 to 6 months after Virgin acquired NTL Telewest that the actual name changed.
Yeah.
So was that kind of a process you went through to make sure that they upgraded the number of people they had in the service centre?
Definitely, and we won't brand something until that service is changed. So a lot of times through the acquisition process of a new company, we won't go to the branding phase until the experience has been altered. And then when we switch it and we move it over to the brand, then we know that everything is in place. And we're currently going through that now with the new business that will be starting in the UK. And I think any other company would probably immediately put the brand on it because you pay the money for it and you're going to start the business. And we're saying, nope, we need to wait until next year because between now and then we need to understand where the pain points are. We need to look at where the issues are with the customer experience, and only then will we switch the brand. Yeah, it's a big part of it. How are you guys doing on bullets? Good? Okay. This one. Virgin Money Lounge. How many people have been? If you open a Virgin Money account, any account, doesn't matter, and any amount, doesn't matter, you get access to the Virgin Money Lounges. They're opening up all over the UK, currently London, Manchester, Norwich, Edinburgh, Glasgow, again missing one. Great space, free, you can go in, free Wi-Fi, free biscuits and tea. You can sit down, watch TV, read a magazine, use the work area, it's all open. And in some of the bigger locations, it's also a community space, so local community groups can book it, they can come in, sit down. This hits on the values of heartfelt service, delightfully surprising, red hot, and that looks amazing, and it's a great space. And it's free for you to use, as long as you're a customer of the bank. And it's no sales either, no sales pressure. It's not even close to the retail arm, so you can just go in and use it. So when you go in, it's not like someone's going to be talking to you about products. You can just go in and use the space. And the closest one to here is Piccadilly. One equal place. Who had that? That's the spaceport. So that's where Galactic will be and take off on.
Is that real or is that a cartoon?
No, that's real. That's real. That's how you enter from the back of it and in the front of the hangars on the other side. Beautiful facility out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it really is. It's gorgeous.
Really bad shot, sorry, Karen.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. What's up? I actually wanted the previous photo slide.
Oh, this one or the one before?
But it's just to see the couple of kids in these photos. I was wondering if there's any plans to do anything to sort of hit the younger sort of threshold of
So
target audience come up with that.
towards kids specifically, no. Towards families, yes. So we've just done a piece of research around virgin families. So looking at what that offering could be for families. So that's a sector that is interesting. As we were talking about before, how your core demographic ages and has kids, and it's also the Disney model as well, where then you market to those kids, and then those kids become parents, and then parents have kids, and it keeps going. So yeah, definitely.
How do you get to know all of these brands? Do you have to spend a certain time with each brand?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, all I can tell you, it's like drinking from multiple fire hoses. And in the same way, you can't be an expert in all the fields, but you really try to dive into the businesses and find out what matters most to them, and where the pain points are, where they're having trouble, where do they need support. And that's a big part of what I do, is help them out with those areas. And it's everything from agency introductions through to review of their media spends, and even down to pieces of collateral that need to be reviewed or research that needs to be done. I mean, it really runs the gamut. And I've said this before, like every 30 minutes it's something different. Like every 30 minutes you walk into a meeting, you're like, right, what are we talking about? Whales. All right, I can talk about whales. And then 30 minutes later it's like, right, what are we talking about? Rocket fuel. Okay, go. What are we talking about rocket fuel? And it's just, it's like some weird party game, but it's a day at the office. Love it.
How, the organization, your brand organization at the top, how big is that in comparison to the organizations of the individual brands?
So the group level organization is small. We're only about 120 people, maybe 130. That's it, split between or amongst Geneva, New York, and London. And then the individual teams vary depending on the size of the company, but yeah, they're big teams and fully fledged companies.
So not very tough.
Not at all. Some days it feels leaner than others. And they're almost done. So if you guys haven't shot, I would do it quickly. So this table, by the way, is leading on the chocolate score. I'm just going to stop here for a second. So I talked before about being purpose-driven. So each one of the Virgin companies has a purpose statement. So this is why they exist beyond the financial side. This is what are they giving back to people and planet. And I won't go into detail on all of these, but when you look at, let's say, Virgin Money, everyone is better off. I kid you not, everything that they do, they filter through, is everyone better off as a result of whatever they are doing? So is everyone better off as a result of a new product? Is everyone better off as a result of a lounge that we're opening? And they call it EBO internally, and it's very much EBO. Everything's EBO. And it's that level of commitment to purpose that you see throughout all the companies. And it takes a while to get to your purpose, by the way. It doesn't just happen. It takes months to really get to what is the core of your being as a company. So amazing. Yes?
What's Richard Branson's personal passion? I mean, he's got so much going on in his portfolio. And you were talking earlier about how, he's looking at any kind of industry, so long as he can get by, so long that there's a purpose to it. But what makes him tick? What does he want to be doing?
So it comes down to purpose, and it's people and planet. So when you look at his work on the elders, the ocean elders, which are amazing groups of heads of state who come together to help solve, in the case of the elders, human rights issues and violations, things in the world that are going wrong. The ocean elders, it's about protecting the oceans, and what are we doing to actively pursue that? And that gets to everything from, plastics and sustainabilities and our carbon footprint. All that ties into it. That's a big piece of it. On the other side of it, I mean, he is an entrepreneur, and he loves helping startups get started. So kind of look at the two sides of it.
And also, nothing on the F&B side?
On the F&B? Well, the hotels.
Oh,
yeah.
Not specifically food and drink.
Oh, we had Virgin Cola, but that's gone. Yeah, and again, that's a really good example of a sector that we were allowed permission to go into, but it didn't make sense because the competition was there. And how could you really differentiate cola? I mean, even Coke and Pepsi, granted, there are some people who are Coke and some who are Pepsi, but really it's cola. I mean, how could you really disrupt that and make it?
Is there a conflict between the commitment to purpose and the disruption of market? Because commitment to purpose is something which most of the brands in those markets is trying to achieve. So money, it's service-driven, but across a fairly homogeneous industry. The same with gyms and with flights and mobile phone services. Which of those brands would you say was the most disruptive, and how do you sort of promote that when you're also trying to deliver? So
yeah, I think you can. Well, I think the key is to be both, right? So when you look at mobile, which is I don't think it's up there, but it's making mobile better. Oh, it is, last one. Making mobile better. So on the business side of it, that's about better coverage, better hardware, transparent contracts, no hidden fees, having the latest tech, always the latest tech, great customer service. So it's all of those kind of snags that you usually get.
Right.
Working on it. On the purpose side of it, it's like, what can you do then with a mobile phone? So you can provide them to homeless youth. You can use it for a Virgin Money giving app, right? That can help you raise money. Virgin Mobile Australia is doing a Feeding the Homeless project where you take a photo of your plate of food, which we all do, right? Especially on holiday. You take a plate of your food. When you do that, they donate to a food bank to help feed someone. So every time you take a photo of your plate, it feeds someone. So it's both. So how can you make mobile better for your business is directly linked to how can you make it better for the planet. And not to segue into a different brand, but Unilever is amazing at this. Paul Pullman, if you haven't heard him speak, is very, very inspirational around this topic. That he's very much about, that is a multi-billion-dollar business as well, and he wants to make money, but he also knows that he has a responsibility to give back. It's a good one to look at. The Sunlight campaign from Unilever is fantastic. Yeah.
Is there an area that sort of floats your boat that you think Virgin could go into that they haven't yet? Is there something you'd really like Virgin to launch a business in?
So my background with Disney was all around hotels, theme parks. I don't think we should go into theme parks. But I think hotels is a great space for us to be in. I'm genuinely excited about that. I think the cruise industry as well is amazing. It was funny, someone asked, well, what types of sectors does Virgin go into? And I said, well, ones that are underserved, like banking. And she laughed. I'm like, well, you know what I mean. They're underserved. Like you don't get the best service from a bank, so they go into that area. I think any area or any sector that feels like it's lacking in some way on the customer service or experience side, it's a perfect place to go. Good. Which one? Left. So that's a Virgin Mobile store in Canada where they have a retail presence, which is great. They have both prepay and postpay contracts. And again, we try to make them feel as Virgin as possible. And we have mobile operations all over the world. It's a great store, one of the new ones. And this is Richard at an event that we did a couple months ago. And we had, I can't remember where the gentleman was from now. I think it was Intel. Was it Intel? I think it was Intel. And he came to it wearing a tie. And we have this policy where you don't wear ties. And Richard has a policy of cutting off people's ties. And so towards the end of the event, it was a live Google broadcast event, debate. We handed him a pair of scissors and he got up and reached over and just cut off the guy's tie and held it up. And I think we probably had to send a replacement tie. That's great. He's not a big fan of ties. I won't play this one because I know I'm probably running low all the time, but as part of Purpose, Virgin Active did a few spots around kind of bringing that purpose to life. They're amazing. I can send you the links if you're interested in them. But very, very tear-jerking, heartfelt. This is another one that I won't go into. South Africa, Virgin Active. And it gets into the idea that at no point in this is it selling the gym. It's talking about how learning to swim in South Africa is not something that's taught, but there's a need for it to be taught and kind of their place in that. Very, very compelling. Game of Phones, this was a campaign in Australia. Virgin Disruptors event, the first one that we did, that similar Google Hangout with Richard, debating the future of the music industry. And we had Will.i.am as kind of one of the panelists. The second one that we did where we cut off the guy's tie that was innovation. So has the boardroom killed innovation? So, we try to pick really disruptive topics and debatable topics. that telling me to end because I'm done?
It was about the elders. How many elders have you got?
So who are they?
Yeah.
So I think we're at 12 elders. What's that?
That's a bit slow.
Oh, sorry, that's all right. Yeah, I think we're at 12 elders right now. It's Kofi Annan, it's Jimmy Carter, Desmond Tutu. We had Mandela, sadly. He passed on. He was one of the founders of the elders. It's, again, just not directly connected with the companies, but they do amazing work. I mean, it is really all about Richard's work. And yeah, it's incredible when you look at the power of those individuals coming together on their own to look at world issues. It's pretty amazing.